We're at Renegade Harley Davidson today, and we are about to take a first look at the 2025 Gray Ghost Iconic Fatboy. This is the Icon collection for Harley Davidson this year, and we went with the 35th anniversary date of the Harley Davidson Fatboy, which originally came out in 1990 and was called the Gray Ghost. So this 35th anniversary edition is also called the Gray Ghost. Now, some would argue it's more silver. The original one was kind of silver too, but this is more chrome silver. We're about to take a look at this. One of the debates people have been talking about online is this too shiny? Is it too reflective? Would it be, possibly in your eyes while you're trying to ride it, reflection kind of stuff? So let's take a look at this thing and you guys give me your opinion, what you think about it. I will say one thing, standing right here, I feel like I'm looking at it now. We'll flip the camera around where you can see it. And when I'm standing here looking at it, and I don't know if it will come through on the camera, but I see more sun glint off like the mirror, and maybe it's just the angle, than I do the fender or the front forks or things like that. Really the concern will be reflection off the tank probably when you're riding it, more so than anything else for the rider. And I don't know that anybody passing by is going to get enough reflection off of the fenders or something like that to really be any kind of problem. Those are the slotted wheels, and of course this Gray Ghost Iconic Fatboy has all the features of the 2025 Fatboy, including all new LED lighting and stuff. One of the changes is this air cleaner. This is what they call like the 117 Classic Variations air intake cleaner, and it's round, and it does cut down a few horsepower over the 2025 Fatboy that has a different air cleaner, but it gives it that nostalgic look. And I really like the fact that when you look at it here, it says Fatboy on it and 117. That's kind of a nostalgic thing they used to do back in the Evo days. Sometimes put the models on the air cleaners, like Springer. My dad's 88 Springer has that on there. We still have dual staggered exhaust. That looks good. That really fits the time period. One of the things people said they really had to do with this when it came out was have a gray frame, not a black frame. And Harley Davidson has done that. Swing arm, frame, everything here is a powder coated gray. Of course, we have a chrome side cover right there. Now, let's see. I think you can really kind of see it here looking with the side cover and the fenders, and you can see the fender doesn't have quite the same reflection that the chrome does. It does have a chrome look, but this is a whole different process. And from what I understand, they charge the paint or the chemical, the material they're putting onto the fenders positively and the bike negatively, and that makes a bond. And this gives this kind of a chrome paint-like finish. It's clear coated. It is not chrome, but it is going to meet standards, and it's going to be easier to clean like paint. So you won't use chrome polish on this, as I understand it. You'll use cleaner on it just like you would paint. Now, I know this is a pain point for some people, this big fat back tire. It's not my favorite. I know a lot of people wish they'd go back to a 200 instead of this big 240, but it is what we have. And, it is the Fatboy with big fat tires on it, front and back, all LED lighting. There's the Icon logo in the fender. As you come up over the seat, we have just kind of a plain black stitch seat. Then we get into a little bit of dressing on the tank here. We have a little concho. This is Harley Davidson Motor Company. Has some yellow trim to match the Fatboy's kind of look here. Here you'll see the edition. This is number 272 out of 1990. This is a limited edition. There's what our gauge looks like. Now, turn this thing on here. I'll flip this on. Now, when I flip the bike on here, you'll see the LCD screen light up here. Hopefully the camera will pick that up here. In this gauge down here is where we get our tachometer, our fuel range, what TPMS, what gear we're in or mode we're in, all that kind of stuff. So that's all in this digital portion of the gauge down here. And otherwise you have what looks like a analog gauge. Now, the new Softails for this year also got new hand controls. Over here is our kill switch and starter switch all in one. That's traction control and hazard. Right blinker is there, and pressing this way is your mode. But you can also reach around to the back side of this and flip it instead of reaching over here to push it. So when you have your hand up here, instead of having to reach all the way in, you can just put your finger behind that and pull it to you to go change your modes. So on this control, this is our trip button that allows you to toggle between your trip and your odometer and different settings there, see your RPM. Here is our cruise control settings. This is standard on all new Softails. Our horn and our Blinker buttons are down here. Again, you can flip them that way. There we go. Now this derby cover has a 117 with kind of a yellow etch in it. Of course, the engine up here has yellow accents for the rocker boxes and stuff, giving it that old school look to kind of be, I guess what the best way I did describe it, the word Harley Davidson uses is reimagined. This is not supposed to be a replica. This is supposed to be a new version of a classic bike, a new take on a classic bike. Now, of course, we got the dual wing logo back this year for the Icon Edition here with a little bit of gold in the circle there. Now, guys, I really like how they've cleaned up the heads on this. So these now have a cooling passage in these. These are the same heads that are used on the touring models, but instead of doing liquid cooling and a coolant through those passages, they're using oil. So they're running the oil through the heads to help cool the heads. And I think that's real cool. And I think it's cleaned up some of the lines on top of the engine. So I think that looks good. Looks better than what they've done in the past. I really like the way that's working out for them. Even the seat has the kind of skirt on it and a little bit of a fringe here. Just kind of that old school look, just a little bit, not overly done. I think they did this well, a little braiding in here, but not everywhere on the seat, just on the skirt. So I think Harley's done a good job with this bike, personally. All right, guys, that is a first look at the Gray Ghost. Now, personally, standing out here and looking at the painted surfaces, which are the tank and the fenders, and then the chrome front end and the chrome mirrors and things like that, I feel like that the chrome is more reflective than the painted surface. And I don't know that I think the painted surface would be, a problem to ride this bike. Now, I haven't got to ride it yet. I know Professional Monkey did. If you think it's a problem riding this bike, you should go over there and comment on his video and see what he thought about it when he actually rode that bike. He got to go to the press launch in California and ride it out there in bright, sunny California. So he should have a really good take on that aspect of it. All right, I'm out. Y'all stay safe, keep on riding, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, I want to give a big shout out to Teddy Morris's Renegade Harley Davidson in Springfield, Missouri for letting me come out and film the Gray Ghost today. They're always willing to work with me and let me see bikes, maybe ride a few bikes and stuff. They've been a great partner to the channel. So make sure you give Teddy Morris Renegade Harley Davidson a shout out. Check them out if you're ever in the Ozarks. Let's see if they can put you on your dream motorcycle.